Hi Lancers, this is Robin Thompson and this is my week 2 presentation for and some outstanding, mediocre, and wrong answers to an interview question. Hope you enjoy my presentation. So you're going to be applying for the position of division manager at the Superior Court of California, and you're going to be asked to answer a common question when it comes to leadership. Most oftentimes, when you're applying for any sort of supervisor or manager position, you're generally asked questions that are situational, and you probably come across a question about managing problem employees or difficult employees. And being able to demonstrate that you're able to manage various types of people is something that you want to do to bring out the best in yourself, because managers who can bring out the best in struggling workers or problem employees um, definitely have an ability to create more productivity for their company and create a department that's motivated and works very, very well together. Clear question. What is your experience with employee disciplinary processes? Pretty common question. We just kind of went over that a little bit. Let's see how various ways we can answer that. The best, most outstanding answer that you can give is going to take some great preparation on your behalf. You're not just going to be able to go into an interview and wing it. You're going to be able to provide some specific criteria and details regarding your response. So let's just say an outstanding answer might be, at my previous job, I had an employee who was consistently late completing tasks, and this was slowing down the entire department. So I spoke to her in private, provided her with a warning of the behavior, and I included a deadline for improvement, so when we would follow up and meet again. When I saw that there was no improvement, I spoke to her again, and I let her know that I would be reporting her to Human Resources, but I also gave her another chance or another deadline to show some sort of improvement. And this was the employee's last and final deadline. Happily, after careful monitoring and meeting, after a 3-week period, she was completing her tasks in a timely fashion. So not only was the problem solved, but her increased productivity helped the department complete projects ahead of schedule. So the reason this is an outstanding answer is because the STAR method was used, which is the situation, task, action, and result. And these 4 elements need to be met. We can ramble on and give great detail into each one of those, but we really want to stay focused on describing those 4 methods so the interviewees know exactly what the situation was and how you handled it and what was the outcome. So that would be the outstanding answer. The second answer that you might give is going to be more of a mediocre answer, where maybe not all of the elements of the STAR method are used, or when you spend too much or put too much emphasis on one area of STAR and kind of making it hard to follow along, and they kind of get lost in what you're actually saying or what the actual outcome was or what the actual problem was. It becomes unclear. So while they know that you had to deal with this, they're not sure how it was actually handled. So an example of this mediocre answer might be similar to the outstanding, but we're going to leave out some elements. But I had a previous employee who was consistently late completing tasks, and it was impacting the success of the department. I spoke to her in private, gave her a warning regarding her performance issue. Over the next month, I watched for improvement, but there was not much, if any at all. I spoke with her again in private and provided her with a write-up regarding the lack of improvement. The employee ended up bouncing back, but it took some time. So the problem with this mediocre answer is that um, there was no date or specific date or action happening. There was no date given for leaving the employee unsure of what the time frame was that they had to show some sort of improvement. So upon the initial meeting, it needed to be like the outstanding answer is that I spoke to her in private, gave her a warning, and this was the deadline. So leaving out that deadline really left the employee feeling that maybe they had more time than they thought. So when the write-up came, they probably were surprised that they were getting one because they weren't really sure as to when the date is that they needed to improve. So that would be a mediocre answer. A wrong answer altogether is to say that you've never faced that situation before. We've all had problem employees and difficult ones, and you might be put on the spot and you just say, I can't really think of a time that I had to formally discipline any of my employees. My teams and my employees have never had any performance issues, and my team's always been on top. Wrong. Never say that. There's always room for improvement. There's always some sort of disciplinary, not even necessarily disciplinary, but there's always some sort of coaching opportunity, some sort of development that can be done. So you never just want to simply say that you've never been faced with that situation before. This is your time to sell yourself. So what did we learn? What did we learn this week? That we can give great, outstanding answers. We can give some mediocre answers, and we can give some wrong answers. But in the end, it really is going to come down to the preparation that you put into your answers. You want to reflect on some of your challenging experiences. Take time to write down your thoughts, um, and kind of reflect to figure out what the issue was, how you worked to resolve it, and what the actual result was. And then be specific. Hope you guys enjoyed my presentation this week, and I'll see you guys next week.